Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Key Lies Within. I'm your host, KP, and today we're going to be talking about a powerful documentary that had a profound impact on me and provided a check on my own reality and standing in it. So, today I watched a documentary called Gleason, which covers Steve Gleason's journey following his ALS diagnosis. The documentary captures the rapid changes in his physical ability over 5 years, which is the life expectancy he was given by doctors. So, this story isn't just about Steve, it's also about his wife who juggles everything, including taking care of their child and not wanting to receive any help in his care, and also Steven's effort to be a present daddy while also mending the relationship with his own daddy and his own faith. So, what stuck out to me the most was the family's transparency and vulnerability. So, throughout this documentary, Steve's very honest about how he's feeling, how it's making him feel, and also his wife and his dad. He has like big faith talks with his dad, and they have different opinions about what walking in your faith is, and you see all of that come out on camera. So, Steve was very proactive about using whatever physical abilities he had at the time to create any autonomy he had left against this disease. So it painted a raw reality and that this is life today and it will be different tomorrow, but you have to face it head on and there's no running from it, right? So in watching that documentary, it made me reflect on my own life. Like, what is my reality today? What reality am I really creating for myself? And am I being realistic about my successes and challenges that I face? So, here's my hard reality. I'm a 32-year-old woman, and I often question everything I don't get right. I let my challenges hold me back, and my confidence has taken a bit of a hit due to that. So sometimes I almost feel like a shell of myself, like I'm trying to chase a old form of self that was on the mark with everything, proactive with everything, and my eyes got everything right and really was optimizing everything and really turning big hurdles into big wins. So in my reality today, I quite struggle with that, you know, getting more into adulthood and transitioning to different responsibilities, different opportunities, and things like that I want to create for myself. But sometimes I can be guilty of wanting to be that older self where I felt like I had everything in order. All the plan A's was working. I didn't have to rely on a plan B. But now I'm really in the thick of it and really having to weigh options, having to have backup plans, having to really navigate things differently, which has kind of created a sense of worry and anxiousness, a bit of self doubt, like this is not going to work out, so I need to make sure when this doesn't work out kind of attitude versus like this is what I want to do and I'm going for it no matter what kind of attitude. So that is what my hard reality is today, right? So in watching this documentary and really coming to terms to my reality, I also wanted to not just let that negative side of my reality dictate how I go into my next moment and really continue to create the opposite of what I want for myself, right? This is what I'm committing to today and where I stand today. So, first thing is, whew, excuse me. So, first thing is, I want to, I am going to identify my challenges and work through them no matter what. So if I procrastinate, I need to figure out how not to procrastinate. And so I'm committed to not shying away from challenges that come in my path. Instead, confront them head on, not linger on them, not wait 2 days to come back around to them, but face them head on and find ways to overcome them. So I'm a big systems person, so I will be leaning more on creating systems to overcome challenges. So be it my procrastination, how can I not procrastinate? Creating certain daily work lists to work on, having certain time constraints for things, eliminating distractions such as television, social media, anything like that that maybe deter me, and being stern with myself and saying like this is what we're not doing and this is what we're doing kind of stance. So that's what I'm gonna do for that portion, right? So the second thing is not to be so hard on myself. So I need to remember that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay for there to be deviations, and that's going to be a constant, right? So I want to use all my quote unquote missteps as a learning opportunity. So everything that I may be doing wrong in my eyes, I want to create opportunity out of that to be better and learn more and learn how to be more efficient in tackling those things, right? Because we can be our own, you hear me? We could be our own worst enemy. The inner critic is louder than any positive reinforcement that you may have around you and loved ones and family members and husband and wife partners. So, really tackling that inner critic and realizing where that inner critic comes from. So, a big thing is always kind of diving into and what reality you created for yourself as a kid, because it always is constant, because that is like the building block to you as a person, your personality and things like that. So it's always important to go back to that and even going a step further into diving into the personalities of your parents and what their childhoods was like and how that stuff kind of gets passed on to you unconsciously because you're picking up certain mannerisms, or you trying to be a kid that stay out the way, or you trying to be a kid that's trying to be heard, so you're doing different things, right? So the biggest thing is don't be hard on myself. That's sometimes easier said than done because it's a bit of a harder habit to undo, because a lot of times we are with ourselves more than other people. So you with your inner thoughts constantly, all day, every day, just passing through. So the third thing is to be more present. So I will be focusing on the here and now and appreciating the moments that I have and making the most of those. So instead of being so worrisome of what I didn't get done, what needs to be done, what could have got done, what everything that happens in the past and the future, be present to what's happening now. How am I, how am I feeling? Adjusting like my spirit, my attitude, and understanding where those things are coming from. Because a lot of times, those iller feelings come from things that aren't happening right in front of you. Because when you're in the moment, you're more aware of like, okay, this is happening, bad or good, and this is how it's making me feel. And in order to tackle this head on, I'm gonna say something or I'll remove myself, whatever, you have a better chance of making a more cognizant, conscious decision versus if you like, oh snaps, this happened to me last Tuesday and you reliving those last Tuesday feelings about this same situation, or you're feelings from all the past interactions that you may have had with the same person or similar interactions you may have had with people over time, and you carried it into this present moment that's happening versus pulling yourself out the situation, assessing what's going on, and understanding this is happening right now, and we're dealing with it right then and there, right? And so the fourth thing is recognize my brilliance. You know, a lot of times we can be, some people don't have a problem with it, but like people like me, I can be pretty modest, even though I know how intelligent I am, how I'm able to achieve, accomplish, create different things. Like I have a brilliant mind. Sometimes I'm so modest where, you know, I don't show up with that brilliant mind sometimes. You know, I may, kind of tuck it away to not seem like I'm full of myself kind of thing, like to make sure I'm humbled. But, you know, despite any challenges I face, I need to acknowledge strengths, my skill sets, and those skill sets and brilliance should be celebrated no matter if I'm having a bad moment or I made a poor judgment or a poor decision that I feel like sets me back, but that my decisions and what I do and don't do does not define me as a person and my character. I can make mistakes without those mistakes defining me and labeling me as this person or that person, right? So through it all, I am committing being a better steward to myself first because I can't expect anyone advocating for me, rooting for me if I'm undoing everything that they doing or if I'm not even doing that for myself. This is the reality I choose to embrace today. Bad, good, ugly, purple, blue, white, you know, facing the reality that's standing in front of me in the mirror right now. And knowing that it's not about perfection, but it's about progress. What am I doing today with my shortcoming, my mistake, my my poor decision, my um, mistake? What am I doing with that? Am I just relishing in it and just festering in it? Or am I about getting to it and changing it? Which that's the side I want to be on. Progress. Progress doesn't mean that there's not bumps in the road. It just means that you're actively saying, I don't like this thing, and I'm going to keep getting at it, keep getting at it, keep getting at it until I got it. Right. So it's about me being honest with myself and taking steps to create the life that I want and the vibe that I want for myself. You know, if I want a certain aesthetic, I'm going for that aesthetic, and you don't have to be who you are today, yesterday, 10 years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Hell, when you were a kid, you don't have to be that person. You can reinvent yourself. You can create the life that you want that you feel fits your spirit. So, in all, thank you for joining me on this journey. If you have your own reality check moments or reflections, I would love to hear them. And feel free to share your thoughts about this story and previous podcast episodes with me by emailing me at tklwpodcast@gmail.com. And I will actually be sharing a few of those insights on the next episode. So make sure you send them so you can be included. So until next time, remember to face your reality with courage and kindness. And this is KP signing off from the Key